I'm standing here on what could be the future location for Misión Bíblico Bautista La Verdad. I'd love to take a minute to tell you about the potential in this location, but first I'd like to tell you a little bit about the backstory.
When we arrived in this part of Chile early last year, we started to look for a place to live and tried to find a house that would work for us as a family and for our first meeting place. We came across this property and even asked about it. We were told it was sold and considered the matter closed. As time went on and the property continued to sit vacant and trashed, we began to pray that maybe God would allow us to acquire the property for use as a church building. We'd frequently walk by the property and started calling it our church property, all the while knowing that it was supposedly sold. We knew that God could work however He wanted. This is where we've been meeting as a ministry since the beginning of this year. Our home offers enough space to comfortably seat about 25 people, and we think we can cram up to 35 people. But because it's in a gated community, many people have a hard time finding us or coming in when they find us. Finally, this past January, we again approached the construction company that built the property and asked if it was for sale. They told us that the buyer had just backed out and it might be available. We had a mess of paperwork to go through, but we bathed the matter in prayer, and after several months and a few miracles, we now have the property reserved. Let me tell you about the potential in this property. As it is, it has a room about the size of what we are currently using for a meeting place. We estimate that we should be able to fit 30 people in the room for services. As the ministry grows, we can easily build out the back and have enough space for 70 to 80 people. As the ministry continues to grow, the empty land beside the house should be big enough to build an auditorium to hold up to 150 people, and then the house could be converted into a parsonage. Upstairs are 2 large bedrooms that could serve as classrooms or even a nursery. While our home is in a gated community on a street that nobody heard of, this property sits on the corner of what will soon be a major intersection. It's just about 100 yards from the only police precinct in the city, so almost everyone knows the general area. Most importantly, within a mile of this property, we estimate there are currently about 30,000 people. There are also 9 different developments currently under construction, including 3 that are visible from this location. And when you consider all the undeveloped land nearby, it's not unreasonable to assume that there will be over 50,000 people living within a mile of this location within the next 10 years. There are probably a dozen different churches within that same area, but not a one of them has been able to share an accurate presentation of the gospel. Most, if not all, teach a works-based salvation. The need for the gospel is great, and the opportunity at this location is amazing. The construction company is now going to rebuild the property until it is like new, and then we will have to pay the $100,000 they are asking for this property. Our young group of believers have just started giving to the Lord, but we know that finances are no challenge for the Lord. If He's worked out all these details so far, I don't think He'll bring us to the finish line without also helping us get over it. They estimate the property will be ready by the middle of November, but we only have to raise $60,000 between now and then. The other $40,000 won't be due until a later date. If you'd like to be part of this opportunity, please let us know. Pray about what God would have you do to take advantage of this opportunity.